50th episode of Press Any Key Podcast. We've got a new logo, which you should be seeing. We've got new intro music, which you should have heard. I personally think it sounds awesome, but let us know what you think. We have an amazing, amazing show for you guys this week. All the hosts we could possibly tie down to a chair are with us today. We have Lance John.
What's going on, people?
Shayna Moon.
Hey.
Aaron Murphy.
Hey, guys.
Connor Howard.
What's up?
And last but not least, Leon Field.
My ropes are chafing, guys.
That's great. That's great. Thanks.
I'll make them tighter next time. No problem. This is an awesome episode. This is an hour-long episode. Normally we do it much shorter, but we wanted to go all out for you guys on our 50th one. And we also actually, I think, are returning from a little break, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And a lot of the stories, actually, three of them, involve Nintendo. But before we get to that, actually, a quick follow-up story. We were talking the other week about Samsung and how Samsung was basically going to do their own virtual reality thing, virtual reality headset. And they were working with Oculus Rift, and it's been revealed. And the funny thing is, I totally called it. It's got the design I talked about. You basically slot your phone in to this device, and off you go. It looks kind of cool. My question is really, do you guys think they're cannibalizing the market? Because it's clearly you've got the Oculus brand on the Samsung Gear promotion already, because I think it says powered by, right? It's a kind of small. Yeah. It says powered by Oculus. So now my question becomes, who's going to be buying this? Versus an Oculus. So like I have a Galaxy phone. I guess I would just get this and put my phone in, and it's the same experience.
I think this is more casual focused, whereas the Oculus is sort of for that elusive sort of hardcore market. I think this is wonderful. I think the more competition, the more devices like this that exist, the better, because that'll just encourage the teams working on them to be better and better. And I think that the sooner we can get this technology to consumers and developers, the better. So I'm very happy about this.
Yeah, and I think it introduces a really interesting convenience and mobility to virtual reality where maybe, with this, you don't have to plug it in anywhere. I think it runs off of just the cell phone battery and the hardware and the rig that you attach it to. So it's kind of, you take it anywhere. So, there's that convenience to it, which I like.
Unless, of course, you're an iPhone 6 user.
Well, yeah, but I'm never going to use an iPhone, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, exactly.
The question I would love to hear answered is, what's the battery like on the Note smartphone that they're saying you should use with this? Because that would be an issue if it was the terrible smartphone batteries we've come to love and know in the past few years.
I have a Note tablet, and while I know that's not a phone, it has very good battery life. It can go for multiple days and be fine, even with regular use.
I have a Note 3, and honestly, for me, I've been actually trying to optimize my battery usage. So I find that I kind of burn through the battery kind of quickly, and I've been actually trying to figure out why and make it better.
Do you have an
It
answer?
could be you have. It could be that you have rogue apps running in your phone, but that's another story. I have two thoughts about this. The fact that it has Oculus in it, I think Oculus is playing the long con, meaning they want to get people that's not familiar with them, or besides us geeks and nerds who know about this technology that exists. They're trying to say, because Samsung is such a popular brand.
Oh, I see that Samsung will.
They will carry them out, and it's like when people see it, it's like, oh, I have something like this, and then they bring out the big bad Oculus, and they're like, oh yeah, I really like this technology, so I'm gonna try this out as well. My other thought is, this is great if you're married or you have a living girlfriend, because now you don't have to bother her while you guys are sleeping. You can just watch all your porn right in bed, or watch all your Netflix. But quite honestly, me personally, I kind of want this but I would only probably use this when I'm traveling or if I'm like, if I come in late at night after editing some stuff or whatever, and I just want to watch something and fall asleep.
Can you imagine seeing these on a plane though, walking down that aisle and seeing with these things strapped to their faces? That would freak me out.
I don't think it's any weirder than I don't think it's any weirder than like a blindfold. People put those on to help go to sleep. And I didn't even think about that functionality where it's like your own personal movie theater. I didn't even consider that.
The technology is just going to get smaller and lighter. So for a few years, everyone's going to look like dorks with VCRs on their heads, but then it'll slim down, it'll be lighter,
right,
and it'll be hip.
As Connor points out, I mean, yeah, there's no wires here. It's not attached to your computer like the Oculus. It's relying on the cell phone's gyroscope and accelerometer. Thank you, to determine which way you're facing or as you turn. So to me, it's a question of one: is that going to be enough, right? To properly, without motion sickness, to display stuff. Two, the battery life is obviously a concern because you're going off the cell phone. And three, my biggest question is the library going to be shared between this and the Oculus Rift?
No.
No?
I mean, the Oculus Rift it's not a platform like a phone is.
I kind of do see it as a well, sort of. Yes and no. I'm sure people are going to make games specifically for Oculus Rift, but you can also enable the stereoscopic 3D, feature in a regular game.
I actually know a little bit about the development that goes into these kind of games, and the engines that people tend to use allow you to use any virtual reality headset. And these engines tend to also have mobile export modes. So I don't think it would be that big of a jump to see games across both. I do actually see VR more as a platform than something on a platform because of how easy it is to put things across anything now.
We'll just have to wait and see because you really can't predict it. I personally think that the Oculus seems like it's being more geared towards like that sort of console PC experience, whereas this seems like it's for your mobile games.
I can understand where you're getting that impression from, Shayna, and I could see it going either way.
And it's true that like certain engines you can sort of have your console and PC and then port to mobile. It's not that easy. Although
what, Shayna brings up an excellent point. The rendering of the game has to be done by the cell phone versus the computer.
Right.
So that's gonna limit the kinds of games that you can have on the system.
Well, in modern game engines like Unity and Unreal Engine, you can quite easily scale the graphics for the different platforms. All of the tools are there for any developer really to just come in, build a game for any platform. Anyone can come in and develop VR games now that are agnostic to platforms because of modern game engines.
But don't you think there are different design considerations between mobile and having like a physical peripheral in your hand?
The way I'm actually looking at it is kind of like touchscreens, how that was a new form of interaction for us, and I'm looking at VR as another form of interaction that may eventually just be completely across all platforms. You just have to have a Oculus device or whatever virtual reality device, and then you just connect it to your phone, console.
Can you imagine in the future, once this thing is slimmed down, when you go on the flight, they offer you a complimentary VR headset instead of complimentary headphones.
That would be excellent.
6 inches less legroom.
I think what I'm saying is that I think that it's going to get to that point, and it's not there yet.
Oh, I definitely agree there.
Well, just in terms of like going from console PC to mobile, like I don't think that they're quite concentric circles yet. I think it's still a Venn diagram. Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying.
I'm sorry. Could you sound any more geeky while saying that, Shayna?
Well, I could use a funny. I could use a funny voice.
She could say it in Klingon phonetics.
But I have a question about this. Did they mention how you're supposed to interface with this thing? Because
I imagine you have a controller in your hand. You've got to have a Bluetooth controller in your hand.
Yeah, because it would just be like, okay, start it up. Well, try to get it in there, fit it in, and then put it on your head.
Because for a lot of these games, the phone ends up being the controller.
Yeah, that's what I'm working.
So that's a little weird.
Yeah, I'm looking at an article. I'm looking at pictures. I don't see any mention of an extra device or anything like that. So that's a little weird. But
that's probably because it's still in development.
Nah.
Oculus Rift motion controller, patent pending.
Yes.
I can't wait.
The future's almost here.
Almost. Wait for it. Just give it a minute.
Just a little bit. Anyway, moving on. Some interesting stuff coming out of Nintendo over the past 2 weeks. One of the biggest things, obviously, is that they've announced a new, more powerful 3DS. And I was kind of surprised, and at the same time, totally not surprised by this move. It's the differences are pretty small. They've added an extra shoulder button, 2 extra shoulder buttons to it, and what I basically read was that this is in preparation for their future of like cross-platform gaming, so that you'll be able to make it similar to the tablet of the Wii U, so that it's going to resemble it, and then the games you'll be able to play on either the tablet at home or the 3DS when you're away.
Okay.
But other than that, it's just a little lighter, and the 3D effect is easier to achieve. You don't have to hold it like precisely at like a certain angle in front of your face to get it. And that's about it. What do you guys think? Is this a good time to pick up a 3DS, or are you going to wait for another iteration of the same device?
You forgot to mention the nubbin.
Oh yes, that's right. The nub. They've added a little controller nub above the buttons.
They jokingly called it a second analog stick or something like that.
No, they did not call. Really?
It's kind of like the C button or C stick, like from the old N64, I think.
Oh, okay,
yes,
okay.
it's except even smaller, but it's the same idea for sure.
Go ahead.
The
only weird thing about this to me is the name. Just calling it the new 3DS, like that doesn't make sense to me. But everything else, it's like
Nintendo's more imaginative than that.
They're pulling an Apple.
Well, I mean, like when the newer PSP model came out, what do they call it? The PSP Slim.
Yeah, but new.
That's a better name, I think.
I wish it had been called like the 3DSU or something equally more terrible, because
confusing.
Yeah, then it would just be like Nintendo going how they usually do, but no, they had to pull a leaf out of Apple's book and go with the new word instead.
Well, they're not wrong. It is new.
Yeah,
but it won't be new. But it won't be new in 5 years.
I think it's a little misleading, because this new 3DS can play games that the old 3DS can't. And it just feels like instead of like releasing it this year and calling it the new 3DS, like it should be under a completely different name or something. It's like the 3DS 2 or the 3DS Advance equivalent. It feels, with like the games they're talking about releasing on it.
Yeah, 3DS Advance is actually something that's a good name, actually.
By the way, I totally lied when I said it was lighter. It's not. It's heavier.
Oh, yeah.
It's heavier. I'm so sorry. I totally misread the chart. It is heavier. It's about 20 grams heavier, which is not too much.
Oh, well, forget it then.
Yeah.
Just burn them all.
Despite my bad feelings about this, I probably will be trading in my 3DS XL to get one when they come out.
Yeah, I have an XL, and I don't know if I'm going to make the upgrade or not. The only thing that would change my mind one way or the other is the exclusive games that are going to make use of the extra buttons and whatnot on this device, or maybe the little nub stick. They can come up with something that's enticing enough, I might bite.
That's why I'm doing it. Project X or whatever.
I don't want to sound like a curmudgeon, but I'm so sick of this 3DS, the 3D stuff. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I have really bad depth perception, but I'm just not into this 3D thing. It just really bothers me. It makes me motion sick whenever I try and play one of those.
Well,
3D blind.
Nintendo has the product for you. It's called the 2DS.
Yeah, I know. And I don't
like a wedge.
We get left out. No, I just really don't like this whole 3D thing. Like, I refuse to go see 3D movies. I just am that old curmudgeon lady. I'm like, rah, darn you kids in your 3D.
No, I'm pretty sick of it too. I'm with you there.
This is why I just play with the slider down, because I can't stand the 3D effect.
In some games, it's not good, but in other games, I've actually seen it used to like a good effect. So it really depends. The other kind of interesting thing for me in this device is that it's going to come with a automatic child safety filter on the web browser, and you basically disable it by paying 30 cents.
Oh.
What?
Or 30 yen.
I like it because it's such a nominal price
that
adults can just say, I'll pay 30 cents. I have quarters lying around. But children have to get permission from their parents for their credit cards in order to do that. And therefore, they won't be able to unlock it themselves. Or so Nintendo thinks, because what 7-year-old can't outsmart their parents on technology these days?
In theory, it's actually a very good idea. And I think it's sort of the ideal solution to the problem that they're facing, because I know they ran into an issue with the what was that system that you could send notes to other people, and a lot of people were using it for sexual pictures.
It was like their in-house internet.
Right, it was a messaging system.
The Mii's? The one with all the Mii's, where like when you were all in the same area, you could like send messages to each other and swap pieces to games.
Yes.
It was called SwapNote.
It was called.
That's
okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of problems with that one.
Yes.
Definitely. To the point where they, if you guys remember, they actually took the functionality away.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, you can't have this.
Wow.
Like,
well, in that case, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's such a nominal, I mean, like you said, Aaron, it's such a small amount of money that it's obviously not some kind of price gouging attempt.
Right.
Although I think if certain other companies had done this, people would be more incensed.
Probably, but Nintendo pretty heartily maintains that they're family friendly, and while they can't stop you from being an adult, they're going to stop children from growing up too soon.
Well, that's taking away the client base, like.
What's 30 cents?
Well, think about it, guys. If you have 1 million adult gamers pay you 30 cents to unlock their console, you make $300,000. So
that's true.
That you weren't going to make before.
Wait.
Exactly.
This thing comes default locked like that?
It comes default locked, yes.
I don't think that's right.
Oh, I thought this was like something you had enabled after you got it.
No.
No, you have to pay money to get the cussy language.
On the, to be fair, on the same token, how many of us really use the 3DS to browse the internet?
And how many of us really want to get a message from MILF Hunter 69 when playing Pokemon?
I do. Yeah, bring it on.
Well, you guys are degenerates.
Like my language.
I just want to have happy messages.
Happy messages.
Although I don't have a 3DS. I would like a 3DS. If someone gave me one, I wouldn't refuse it, but
I see. Well, there you go, friends of Shayna.
No.
Birthday idea is right there.
The other sad thing about the new console is the region locking.
That is sad. I don't like that at all.
I never like I don't understand. That's so stupid.
It's like, you can't have this rest of the world.
It's like, we have the ability now to instantly communicate with people on the other side of the world, and yet we have region locking. Like, whoa, why?
Makes no sense.
Licensing in general infuriates me for that reason. It's the 21st century. We can communicate with anyone, anywhere, like, instantly, as you were saying. And, like, it doesn't matter if you put a region lock on it or you only release it in one region. The information will flow to everywhere else very, very easily. I would have thought the industry would go more with the flow by now, considering how far into
Sony's one of the. I'm sorry, Nintendo's one of the few that still does it. Sony doesn't region lock, as far as I know anymore, and hasn't in a while.
Yeah.
So, Sony, however, did make an announcement, or specifically Miyamoto made an announcement that I was very happy to hear. Finally, after like 5+ years, Miyamoto basically came out and said, "You know what? Fuck you, casual players. We're done with you. You know, you've screwed us one too many times before. We're gonna focus now on our core demographic, our loyal fans that come back to us again and again. That's who we're gonna start making games for." And it's like, what took you so long, Shigeru?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. About time.
Yeah, fuck you, casual gamers. It's not like you made it so that the Nintendo Wii was successful or anything. Thanks for that.
Like
we don't care anymore.
It's a two-edged sword, though. I mean, obviously, like, you guys have brand loyalty to Nintendo, and you have sort of this factor where you're very into the Nintendo properties. But when you start saying, like, we're going to cater to that specific fan base, you get games like Silent Hill Homecoming.
Oh, God.
We don't speak of that game.
We don't speak of those things, exactly.
But the thing that was really cool, like, I think there obviously has been some, like, innovation and interesting things happening with Nintendo, just to me as an outsider. Like, I thought the Year of Luigi thing was really interesting. Like, that as a concept is interesting to me.
On the whole, I always feel like too many Nintendo games, especially when you first start playing them, they hold your hand for way too long. They treat you like a kid, especially Skyward Sword is an awful offender.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look, Nintendo, we've been playing the Zelda thing for a while now. I think we got the hang of it. You know, like the average age of the gamer, as we talked about at the last episode, is in the 30s. Yeah. You know. So you don't need to hold our hand. If a child is playing it, I'm sure, you know, they can get some help from an adult. I was actually going to also mention, at one point they patented technology for like a help video. That if you were ever stuck, a video would play showing you how to proceed. But they never actually implemented it. But that's the length that they were willing to go to initially.
The way they held your hand in Skyward Sword was so annoying, because you'd start up a game you've been playing for literally 10 hours, and it'd be like, you found 5 rupees, and you're like, I know that this is 5 rupees. I've done this before. I get so mad every time I picked something up, and I was like, this just makes me want to leave my console on until it burns. So I don't have to start this game over and hear all these like weird tutorials every time I start the game.
Let me give you a protracted explanation of how you should climb this box.
Yes. Again.
Did you get all that? Press A. No.
And it's not just Zelda. It's like all of their games. I haven't played a Nintendo game in so long that hasn't tried to hold my hand for like hours on end.
Like, I've heard that Kirby's Epic Yarn is pretty...
Punch-Out! The Punch-Out game doesn't hold your hand too much. I enjoyed that one.
If you want to feel nostalgic, go back and play, you know, Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess and even Ocarina of Time. There is no guidance there.
It's true.
Very, very minimal, and I want to go back to that sort of gaming style, because it is totally possible to get yourself lost in those games and have to get yourself out of a pickle that you're like, I'm not even remotely able to deal with this yet. And I like that. I prefer that to the guidance that they're like, you have to go on this exact path and take a left at this fork because everything else is blocked off. It's like boring. It's boring.
You know, and I think that's sort of the trend that we're going to. Dark Souls, obviously, very popular because it doesn't hold your hand at all. It makes it difficult.
Hell yeah. It doesn't hold your hand. It asks you to hold your hand out, then hits it with a ruler.
Or a mace or something to break it.
What did you learn?
I don't know.
Dark Souls lies.
I think you can paint yourself into a corner when you try to appeal to that certain market.
Well, anything when you overdo it, obviously. But it's like, I don't understand why they don't put the functionality in the game that if you want help, you can seek it out.
Yeah.
Like a lot of RPGs, a lot of old RPGs, they always have that little hall in the first town where everyone explains the concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to talk to them. You can just walk past it.
That's not necessarily even a good way of explaining concepts to begin with.
Just levels. Just make it easy, moderate, expert. Just let's go back to the basics of having the ability to say, hey, I've played games like this before. Can I just consider myself an expert and not have you hold my hand through this whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be covered in difficulty settings, but I do think there needs to be some sort of, have you played Zelda before?
Yeah,
yes. Okay, we're not going to tell you what to do then. Go ahead.
One question would make things so much better.
But this is a question. Is the fact that you guys are saying that, does that mean that these games are totally stagnant? Like, if you can say that about this type of game, if you can say, well, I've already played this, I don't need a tutorial, I don't need to be told how it works, like, doesn't that sort of tell you that the mechanics haven't changed in, like, years and years and years?
That's what I was just thinking.
But that's the thing.
It's, kind of formulaic with a lot of Nintendo games, which is a kind of reason I'm not really a big Nintendo fan. But
it's a plus and a minus. There's a certain comfort. There's a certain like putting on an old pair of slippers or an old pair of jeans. You're comfortable, and you're just really hoping that the utilization of the core components is going to be a little bit different. But in the Zelda example, you're going to get a boomerang. You're going to get a bomb and an arrow or whatever, and you kind of expect. Yeah. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But is that what makes a Zelda game a Zelda game? Is that a boomerang? Is that what makes a Zelda game?
It's the exploration, and they introduced different items. Like Twilight Princess had the what was it? The chain, the ball and chain that you spun around and through. That was different.
I think the next Zelda game needs laser guns.
Or better, laser arrows.
Dynamic. The flying dynamic in Skyward Sword, and then there was there were the new versions of old tasks that they made more difficult. And yes, I would want a tutorial for that the first time, but then I'd also want the ability to turn it off.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. But going back to Miyamoto, and I think what Miyamoto said actually is kind of pertinent. He said that there was a move by lots of people to quote unquote passively enjoy games, and he said this is his exact quote. He says their attitude is, okay, I'm the customer, you're supposed to entertain me. It's kind of a passive attitude they're taking, and to me it's kind of a pathetic thing. They do not know how interesting it is if you move one step further and try to challenge yourself. And my question is, who are these passive people that expect to be entertained by their games? Like what game would you say falls into that kind of frame?
Kim Kardashian.
Kim
Hollywood.
Kardashian. Okay, you got me there. That's true.
I am still playing that game, and yes, that is a game where you sit on a roller coaster cart, and it just takes you through the scenery.
Okay.
So that is a very passive gaming experience. And I understand what he's saying when he talks about the passive player who wants the shinies brought to them. They don't necessarily want to reach out and, try new things.
Actually try to get it themselves.
But do you feel like there have been any Nintendo games that have sort of taken that approach?
I have not played a lot of Nintendo games.
I don't play a lot of those games, so I can't think of any offhand.
Okay, well then let me rephrase the question then. With Miyamoto reaffirming Nintendo's commitment to sort of more traditional, I don't know if we want to call them hardcore gamers, but traditional gamers, is that going to make you more likely to pick up a Nintendo game?
No.
Yes.
Maybe.
The thing that makes me want to play a new Zelda game is I saw a screenshot of Link on a horse, and it just looked like a big, beautiful open area, and that's what...
Yeah, they were going for a Skyrim feel, for sure.
That's what makes me want to play a Zelda game, as someone who has never really had that loyalty to Nintendo. I see that, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll play a Nintendo game. Yeah. Maybe I'll play Zelda.
Yeah. I only had the Zelda love, and then that screenshot basically reaffirmed what I already knew, which is I love these characters and I love this world, which is a world that they've been building for 25 years, and now suddenly they're opening up this world into something that is far more adult, far more something that I can, delve myself into, as opposed to being spoon-fed the plot line, story by story.
But do you think that'll alienate new players, the younger kids?
I mean,
probably not.
Maybe kids who don't know who Zelda are, but even if you have a remote interest in a game style like these new games that they're talking about, it's at least worth a play.
I think that you're going to be introduced into it in some way. Like, if you go to GameStop and you're like, I'm looking for a Nintendo game for my child, how could the GameStop employee not recommend Zelda, right? Or if you've been playing Zelda for 2 decades now and you have a kid, you're going to introduce your kid to Zelda, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I think the GameStop employee is going to recommend Angry Birds.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's I don't know.
It's like you can already get that on your cell phone,
I'm that person who walks into GameStop and says, "I know more than you," just like Ron Swanson does.
I don't go to GameStop. Let's be real.
Well, you and I, all of us here wouldn't really go into it, but
you're right. The last time I was in a brick and mortar GameStop, the salesperson was recommending Super Mario Galaxy. So you're right.
The thing I really want to talk about Miyamoto's, core gaming initiative is obviously the new game that's been announced, which is Hyrule Warriors. I am really excited about this game, and yes, I'm going to admit it, I liked playing Dynasty Warriors. Now, you can make fun of me for that all you like.
No, I love it too.
Well, there's nothing wrong with enjoying it once.
Dynasty Warriors 2 for the original Xbox. I loved that game. I played it for years. Mostly because I couldn't afford a better gaming console and my parents refused to buy me games. But that is a gaming style that I'm used to. It's a gaming style that I'm comfortable with. And they're crossing it over into a world that has now developed into this, multifaceted plane with lots of realms of existence, which I love. And they're going to cross them over, which is going to be, costumes that you can get for the characters when you pre-order the game, depending on whatever world you want to associate it with, whether it be Ocarina of Time or Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess. And you can get yourself more into those modes, but in a new gaming style. It's not going to be Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time where there's, castles and bosses and they're, the first 3 things you have to collect and then a mini boss and then the next 7 things you have to collect and then the big boss. It's going to be something totally different. And I'm actually really excited for this.
I mean, I'm excited about it too. My expectations are not that high. Like, I'm pretty sure the story is going to be nonsensical and, it's going to just involve some pretense to go out and fight stuff and kill things,
Oh no, it's Ganondorf again. And it's happening all over again.
Surprise.
It happened similar to last time.
On a technical level, those trailers that they've been releasing with the characters, like those character models are so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Very nice.
This is the highest res Dynasty Warrior mod I've ever seen. That's what I call this. But don't you? I think you get to play as what's his name again?
You do.
Yeah,
Ganondorf.
Well, he's, I think, a skin for Link if you register the game with Club Nintendo. I think that's what it is.
I think
that is so weird.
Well, they haven't been very clear about exactly what the Ganondorf skin is worth.
I've seen the video of him opening the chest and the chest sound plays, and it's just really weird.
Now, you guys said earlier that the thing that you really love about Zelda is the exploration. Do you feel like that's going to translate into this style of gameplay?
Probably not.
No.
I highly
And
doubt
that's okay though. This isn't the next Zelda game. This is a almost crossover game, which Nintendo has kind of been delving more and more into with the Super Smash Brothers characters kind of crossing over and things like that. And I don't think this is, the next episode after Skyward Sword or anything like that. It's just a Zelda game.
Interesting.
My favorite part about this story is actually the bit about what they first pitched to Miyamoto for the game. With more inspiration taken from the actual Zelda series, but then with some Dynasty Warrior-esque stuff thrown in, like maybe more of an action element. And the reason it interests me is actually because of the previous story we discussed, and with him saying we want to focus more on core gamers, or however you want to say it. And I just don't think that a reskin Dynasty Warriors is that attractive to core gamers. I think that the original idea sounds way more enticing, like a Zelda experience like you'd never have it could have in a video game. That would be amazing. But instead it's like a Zelda experience that you've never happened before, but it's Dynasty Warriors. And I feel kind of disheartened by that when I hear the original idea.
Not surprised, but I agree with you, Leon. I agree with you. I just took a look at the time. I want to get to the other stories because we're actually burning through it way faster than I ever thought possible. Although the next thing also involves Nintendo, sort of, kind of, sort of. Pokemon. They are making Namco is making Pokemon into a fighting game.
I might be buying a Wii U for this.
Yeah, I want to at least like hang out with my friends who have a Wii U just so I can see this happen.
Is Pokemon not already a fighting game?
It's turn-based. That's why. That's quite honestly the reason why I never got into playing the Pokemon games. Cause
same here.
It's like I don't have that type of time and I don't care. But seeing this, it makes me want to I think I can get behind this. And my question is, what took them so fucking long to do this?
Really?
Yeah.
I look at it and I'm like, this is blasphemy. This is just
really
what?
I think it's great.
Are you a Pokemon purist?
He's big crotchety.
I know. I mean, like, out of all the things you could do with Pokemon, making a fighting game is not at the top of my list. I mean, like, there's a certain amount of logic to it, I guess, but it's just like, it's weird. It's really weird to me.
I totally, I get what you're saying. It feels very strange.
As a massive Pokemon fan who loves everything about the franchise, I'm really excited for this. Like, I know fighting games seem strange, but
I love fighting games. I'm a big Soul Calibur dude, but this is just weird. There's a weird direction to go with Pokemon.
I think it makes a lot of sense with how the Pokemon designs have gone in the past few generations. Though a lot of them look like humanoid guys who are meant to be punching the crap out of each other.
It's like Digimon.
Yeah, like Digimon.
It seems, I don't know. It seems like a really natural, because I used to watch the show and how they always mention these battle arenas and stuff like that, and it just seems like a natural progression for them, and to get it a little bit more like what's that system you call like real time action? Just like as you are the Pokemon and you could just control them to do whatever you can.
Exactly. Like growing up and watching the show as a kid. When they show you that, in the anime and the show, they're not like sitting around waiting for each other to take turns.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're moving. It's very realistic, and that's what I would have loved to see. This just seems kind of odd. And Namco mentioned that this is like a purely Pokemon thing. There's no Tekken characters that are going to appear.
Maybe it's not even going to play that similarly to Tekken. Like, I know what we've seen is mostly fighting Pokemon punching on each other, but this could just be like the real-time action game that we could really enjoy in the Pokemon series. Like, it will be more representative of the Pokemon experience in the TV show than the actual handheld games are.
No, I think it's gonna. I think the majority of the characters are gonna be fighting game characters, and then a few like fan favorites. Like obviously Pikachu is going to be in this game. And like Charmander.
Pikachu wins.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah, I don't see Muck being in this thing. That'd be hilarious if Mr. Mime was a joke character. That would be kind of amusing to me.
To me, like a fundamental part of the Pokemon experience is like the strategizing and putting together your team, and like, you've got certain abilities that take 2 turns to really build up, and I don't know, it just feels, well, I guess it's just because it's different.
I don't know, knowing how in-depth fighting games can be, it could still have that strategic element. Hell, it would be really interesting to see like a team building mode where you just select a few fighters and you select them based on their moveset and how fast they can move, that kind of thing. And you're trying to counter their picks. There's plenty of room for depth in this.
Yeah, are they going to
have a lot of depth?
Are they going to take types into effect? Like, that going to be a thing?
Probably not for this one. Maybe for the next. Because this seems like it's okay. We had this idea. We kind of made it happen. Let's see see how it's received. So I have a feeling like if this is really well received, then they'll probably go a little deeper for the next game. You know,
I really wanted this to be more like Ni no Kuni, but better.
Yeah.
But like a lot better, and with Pokemon.
Okay. That would be so good. It would just be Pokemon on console.
When I wanted a Pokemon fighter game, I wanted Ni no Kuni, but with Pokemon and a little bit better, and that would have been so good.
And less hand holding. Ni no Kuni.
Yeah, after
you want to talk about hand holding, that's a big offender.
Yeah, it was bad.
They just don't want to give us a true Pokemon console game. I mean, after playing Ni no Kuni, I was just like, well, that's as close to Pokemon as I'm getting.
Yeah. Which is sad, because if they could get the really good Pokemon game down, maybe one day they would remake Pokemon Snap, because that's all I really want.
I'm sure it's going to happen.
It makes so much sense with the Wii U gamepad as well.
But
it's a damn camera.
That's a damn good point. I didn't even think of that.
It's so good. You hold it up and like take the picture. It'd be the best game. I am 27 years old and I would very happily play that every day.
You would just proudly walk into that store and be like, Pokemon Snap, please.
Yeah, damn right. I totally
Wouldn't it be better with the Oculus? You just walk around and you just have fake cameras.
And then it has like additional interaction with the Wii U gamepad. So when you hold the gamepad up to your Oculus Rift, it shows up in the game like a camera. That would be so cool.
All right, wipe away the drool. Wipe away the drool. Actually, speaking of very sad things, we can talk for a moment about the Xbox One launch in Japan.
Oh yeah, this is Debbie Downer territory.
That's okay. I have a good news story lined up after this to kind of make up for it. The saddest part isn't even like reading the stats of the story, and I'll give them to you. Over 4 days, the console sold 23,562 units over 4 days. To give you an idea of the difference, PlayStation 4 sold 309,000 in the same time frame.
Yeah. PlayStation 4 has better games. I'm gonna put that out there.
Pretty much.
It's got better games.
Silver lining, they managed to get into the Guinness Book of World Records for the most empty pre-order line.
Yeah.
Oh, that picture was so sad.
That picture's it's like, you're so cute, game store. You actually think people are gonna line up for this thing?
Well, the sad part was like there was a guy like standing in the space, and then the caption said, "Well, actually, this guy was playing on his 3DS."
Is playing a Vita and not
a Vita. That's worse.
Yeah,
I just like that they laid out cones.
Yeah, they laid out cones
just in case the crowd gets rowdy.
But realistically, the 360 was not a showstopper in Japan.
No,
yeah, it wasn't definitely.
No, it
wasn't.
The Xbox One was never
going
to dominate the market in Japan.
Yeah.
But it should have done better than that. It should have done better than terrible. But
the PS4 is so much better.
Well, I think the interesting thing is most people who picked up an Xbox One also picked up Titanfall. It was almost like a 1-to-1 ratio. Not quite, but very close to it. And so that's, I think, a sign to Microsoft. That's the way you gotta sell the system, right? Go for the tropes that they love. Go for the mechs and go for the cute anime girls, and that's the way you gotta do it.
Yeah, you definitely gotta sell it. When you're selling a console, it's a great idea to put out a killer game for it. Something that you, for whatever region you're selling it in. Just like, okay, what do you guys like here? All right, France? Okay, FIFA. Let's do that. You know, it's like, just do
America,
something.
you like zombies.
Yeah, like, just do that. And
But this always happens with console releases.
Yeah.
The console is released, it has no games, it does kind of crappy, and then it builds. Yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Then the flame wars happen.
I mean, well, I guess it makes... Sorry.
No. I was going to say, I feel like Microsoft is almost getting shot in the foot because so many publishers are like, well, this console hasn't sold well in Japan, and so they don't port the games to the Xbox One. In Japan, they only port it to the PS4. So, for example, the newest Batman game that's coming out is going to be exclusively only PS4 in Japan.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about Arkham Knight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
So it's kind of reinforcing the bad sales.
I didn't even know, how bad it was actually going for them over there. Like, I knew that the sales on the consoles have been bad, but for publishers to be doing what they've been doing to the Wii U, to the Xbox One, like that's bad timing.
But it's because Sony made the PS4 more accessible and they made a better console. Like, that's just what happened.
And before they even came out, there was already all that stigma with the Xbox One, and the flame wars going on before they even came out, before any titles were released for either one. Yeah. Everybody was already raging all about the Xbone and how much they hated it. And they were like, I don't know if I'm going to buy a PS4, but I'm sure as shit not going to buy an Xbox One. And that was all it took. And then the game designers, they go, well, nobody wants to play this, so maybe we should just put it out for PS4. PS4 got all the good games, and then nobody wants to buy the Xbox One.
Exactly. And also, they don't want to design for the Kinect.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who I blame for this situation? Ooh. Don Matrick. He was the one who was in charge when they launched the Xbox One. Yeah. I blame Don Matrick because it has just gone bad because of everything he pretty much said in the launch conference.
Yeah. And he pretty much told people, well, tough luck, you're not online, who gives a shit? Like, what? Yep. Why would you say
We have
that?
a product for that. It's called the Xbox 360.
So bad. That was so bad.
Wow, dude. Yeah.
I think he's record time from like 0 to fired.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk so much. I mean, I guess I've already laid my cards on the table when it comes to the Xbox One, but
it's okay. We know
it's not a bad console. They just flubbed it in every way.
Yeah.
Unless you really like sports, then I guess.
Well,
it's great.
We do have a quick sports story, but we're dangerously short on time. So I do want to. I promised you a feel-good story, and here it is. Epic Games, the makers of Unreal, the Unreal Engine, has said that the newest version of Unreal Engine 4, is going to be free for people in school.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Does that mean college kids?
College kids.
What do you need? Like a .edu address?
So no, that your teacher has to apply. The professor has to apply for a license.
Okay.
And then they review the credentials, make sure that's the case, and then boom, it's available for free to that class.
Oh. Okay.
I think this is fantastic.
Oh,
yeah.
I just graduated from a game design program.
Oh,
Me
and
too.
I know that my professor, one of my programming professors, is very excited about this. Of course, he has to teach himself how to use the Unreal Engine. But, I mean, I come from a school from the Midwest in Michigan that we have students who are very economically not well off. The school does not give our program a lot of money. We recently had to get rid of Unity because they wanted to start charging us for licenses for our school.
Wow, really?
That sucks.
That's shit.
Yeah, to be a game design school and to lose something like that is very upsetting for a lot of students. But to hear about this is fantastic.
And they've promised full support. So whenever the engine gets updated, that will carry over to the free licenses as well.
I mean, I've been incredibly lucky. I just finished game design program myself, and we had a partnership with Epic Games. We had Unreal 4 in classrooms, like when it was in beta, and like for everyone else to now have this opportunity is awesome because it really helped me out having that free access to such a powerful piece of software.
Very cool.
It is, and the Unreal Engine is fantastic.
So I feel with this, you're going to have even more of an explosion in the indie scene in the next 2-3 years. This is sowing the seeds, and we're going to see, the result in a couple of years once all the kids that have been studying with this, for a little while start to make games. Yeah. It's going to be nice.
This is going to make it so that we can get these fantastic high poly, high res gaming experiences without these poor kids having to sell their soul to some giant publisher for 20 years of their life before they can actually do something creative.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think it's fantastic.
So to me, the future of gaming looks very bright.
Unreal bright.
It's got a lot of bloom.
I was gonna say it's Unreal, but yeah, that's even better. So.
All right, and last but not least, of course, we have our what the fuck stories of the week. The first one, you just kind of have to see it to believe it. It's really crazy. This guy is so good at Dark Souls. He beats it. He plays it and beats the game using a Rock Band guitar controller. Like that, my mind is blown by this video.
That's just impressive.
How does that? What?
I know his secret.
What's his secret?
Well, by all means, please share.
So I play a lot of Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, and I watched Community a lot on YouTube, and I saw the video. It is really amazing. Don't want to crush that. Like, it's a Guitar Hero controller. Come on. You shouldn't be able to play that game with it. But he is quite over-leveled for the areas he's in. Like, it's not like actually playing Dark Souls.
Oh, you ruined it.
No. I see.
We had a champion and now we don't.
Lied. I feel betrayed.
That's right. That's true. I feel
but like functionally, what? How?
There's in the story, it breaks down the controls on the guitar, so you can see how he does it. But it's just the mentality to me is kind of crazy. It's like, nope, this game's not hard enough. Let me break out the Guitar Hero controller or the Rock Band controller.
Let me be like a nerd on like an entirely different level.
No, I've actually tried this with Halo, and it works. Except you just keep going to the left all the time. But, we did this, me and my roommate, we did this like a couple months back, and we were getting cursed at in the entire time because we were just like dying a lot. But it's possible, and but the way I'm looking at the video, he looks like he has total control over the character, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, he can actually
definitely an amazing act of dexterity, if nothing else.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. It's like, now you must harness your powers for the forces of good.
You must shred for the sun.
Shred for the sun.
That was a Dark Souls reference, right? I got it.
It was.
Yeah!
Oh, you got it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Just so you guys know, I pinned this to the top of the Twitter for everyone who wants to come and watch this video. If you haven't seen it, it is pinned to the top of the Twitter. Or go to our Twitter account, you can see this video, and you have to see it for yourself. You honestly do, because it is just something else to watch. Your jaw will drop. It's so funny.
And what's our Twitter, Aaron?
PAK Podcast. You can tweet at us. We respond to any tweet that someone sends us because we have nothing better to do most of the day.
No, we just love you guys.
We really do. No,
I like Lance's reason better. The next story for me is just truly encapsulates what the fuck to the utmost. So apparently, there's this thing called swatting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this pisses me off, man.
Yeah. So what this is for our listeners out there is it's when you're doxxed. So that someone knows your address, someone knows where you live or work or whatever, and then they hate your guts because you're really good at a particular video game.
Yeah.
So to get revenge on you, they call in either a bomb threat or a hostage situation or some other high-profile thing, and then the SWAT team breaks down your door because they think that you're like a murderer, rapist, terrorist kind of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
It's so bad though that people would one. Let's just talk about the waste of resources that's going on here.
Oh yeah.
I think the bomb squad has something better to do than be storming some 18-year-old's bedroom. But also, it's just these kids get handcuffed. It shows how rude the SWAT team is because they get thrown on the ground and handcuffed and thrown into chairs.
Put your hands.
Well, that's just kind of standard procedure when they're responding to a
Well,
threat.
I understand that, but I hate that this has become a thing. This is not funny. It just makes me mad that YouTubers have basically perpetuated this cycle of hatred.
Exactly, and you can't blame the SWAT team too much because they don't know, right?
Yeah, they're just doing their job.
They're doing their job, and they have to assume worst case scenario.
That's what makes it so fucked up that people make these calls.
Yeah, so
they're the ones really doing wrong. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
the people who are getting swatted usually have no idea it's coming, but
yeah.
Particularly there are a lot of videos, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can hear them. We're about to get swatted," and they like stick their hands up in the air, and you're like, "Oh my god, I can't even imagine that stress."
That's exactly it. And so the video that we have here, that's exactly what happened. And you know what? He handled it remarkably well.
Yeah.
He was like, shit, I think we're getting swatted. And then he was really calm about it. And I mean, I think it worked to his benefit because, I mean.
Yeah, it's like 300,000 views on this video now.
This is one of those things that is gonna, people talk about having privacy on the internet. People talk about how we need to have a free flow of information on the internet. People doing stupid shit like this is what is going to bring the government down on internet activity.
Yeah.
And that's the really infuriating thing for me. I'm a big advocate of web neutrality and that kind of thing. And the people who do this kind of thing, who leak these people's details, they tend to make a big fuss when their internet is being filtered. And yet they are going and making it worse because
some of these streamers have children.
Yeah.
And someone is going to get
disgusting.
hurt. Someone is going to die.
Yeah, I can see
this is going to come down on us.
Whoever called this in deserves to go to jail. Like, there's no question in my mind.
I believe they do. If it's a false report, you can press charges if you know who they are.
Like it's one of these situations where it's already illegal, but because it's happening on the internet, all of these old people in Congress are going to feel like they have to do something.
Yeah,
and it's going to be Jack Thompson all over again. Except this time someone will be hurt.
That brings me
physically.
back. I think in this particular instance in the video, the creatures is like a group of guys that plays games almost like professionally. They stream different games and they have a huge following. Whoever I recall reading, whoever placed the call used a landline, so they are in the process of like trying to identify who placed the call.
Well, if it's any consolation, the kind of person who would do this sort of thing is usually an idiot.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So
I bet they didn't even use a payphone. But I bet they just called it in from their mum's house.
Yeah.
They crawled up the stairs from their basement.
He's like, oh, they can't trace a landline, can't they? I was like, of course they can't.
It's okay. They won't search the basement.
Because this thing made the news. It shut down the school that was nearby because they in this instance it was a hostage situation that had been called in.
Wow.
Yeah. So there were a lot of attention was brought to it, and I mean, if I was the guys who got arrested, I would move my office. Honestly, like I wouldn't want to be.
I would stop streaming.
Yeah, but then that's your livelihood. You can't stop streaming. He wasn't doing this for fun in his basement. This is what the guy does
as a job.
As a job. Yeah.
And this is disgusting.
But people have left the community for less.
Yeah, that's true.
But then the terrorist wins.
Did they win in the game?
They win by not having this content exist anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, his team lost, but that's not important. I was gonna say that
his team lost.
Yeah, his team lost. Obviously, he wasn't there playing. They actually kill him at one point because he's got the bomb or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
stabs him.
No, but Shayna, the content we can't say the content can't exist. Like everyone should be free to stream whatever they want.
I'm not saying the content. I'm not saying the content can't exist. I'm saying the content won't exist.
Oh, I see.
Because people will stop.
Yeah, because of they keep going down this road. There is going to be some lawmakers who's going to be like, "Oh, I can make my political career off of this. Let me attack them now." Or like for instance, the nonsense with what they call it, the fappening.
Fappening, yeah.
That nonsense. Yeah. All of a sudden, I see this all over the major news networks, and they're saying, "Oh, we need to think about our online privacy." That's like, have you been hiding under a rock for the last 10 years?
Yeah, where have you been?
We've been talking about that for the last fucking 10 years. Like, what is wrong with you? It's like, and all of a sudden, because of the celebrity, they want to act on things. But you're right, Miss Moon. I think it's if people keep going down this route, people keep doing this nonsense, somebody's going to take notice of this, and it's going to be bad for everyone involved.
For sure. I'm hoping that cooler heads will prevail, and if someone tries to pass legislation, the internet as a community will kind of rise up and say something about it. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. Our last story of the week involves Madden, believe it or not.
Yeah, it does. Madden, aka the best marketing strategy I've ever seen in my life.
I love it.
I love that you love this marketing strategy so much. I love this
marketing strategy.
So what Madden has done is with the release of Madden 25, they created what's called a Giferator, which basically lets you generate GIFs of the Madden players doing stuff, and people have just taken this and run with it. The funny thing to me is that I've read really terrible reviews about the game, and it's not very good. But
are you shocked? I mean,
I'm not terribly shocked, but I don't tend to buy sports games anyways.
Do you like football?
No, I'm not a big football guy.
Well,
yeah. But this Giferator thing, I mean, oh my God, you have to see some of the content that people are creating with this. What's been your favorite ones?
So far,
Strap It On for America with Aaron Rodgers thrusting at his belt. It is just, and it's got an American flag in the background. It is my absolute favorite. I can't get over this. I kind of want to post it everywhere. I also sent out the Milady one pretty extraneously. Like I sent it to everyone I know because we all make the Milady joke about fedoras and neckbeards and all that.
My favorite is I've been seeing I follow a lot of social justice people, and I've seen anti-capitalists put big long sentences of quotes from Marxist thinkers and I saw a Tumblr that is just the Bible, done in Madden GIFs.
God.
And it's literally they're going line by line, and I think they were halfway through Genesis. It was really funny.
Wow.
That's when you have too much time on your hand. I like this. I like one of the GIFs that I'm looking at right now. It says, "I've had it with game journalism." That's a true fan of Madden right there. What do you mean it's only incremental upgrades every year? That's what the game.
I mean, it's funny because the point of this marketing that they're doing is they're trying to convey this tone of everybody's hyped about Madden because it's Madden season.
Sure.
And I think okay, my dad is in his 50s and my dad plays Madden games. This marketing is not for him. This marketing is for the 18 to 26 guys in college and out of college slightly demographic who might not necessarily be into sports, but if you can do a clever, fun marketing campaign and make it into a social experience, they might be willing to start playing.
I've seen a lot of people use it for trash talking, when their team wins, they'll have a player from their team say something like "you shall not pass" or something like that. But my personal favorite, there's one with a guy running and there's a warp drive kind of background behind him, and it says "These are the voyages." And I'm like, yes.
I love it.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute.
I love these ones that are being used to rip on other teams. Not so much trash talk, but just making just straight fun of a player who, is face planter or whatever. My favorite is the one of Forte running and it says, "Help, I'm being chased by words." And I love it because it's just very fitting. And I love making fun of players like that. It just makes me so happy.
And this is such a perfect counterpoint to that story that we just did. Because that's the dark, evil, horrible part of the internet. And then this is just people on the internet having fun with something. And it's wonderful. I love it.
Oh, I'm going to be using this for evil. Because I don't watch football at all. But I have a bunch of friends that do. And I love to mess with them when their team loses. So, yeah.
You should make one that says home run.
Yes.
I want other games. I want other games to have shit like this. It's awesome.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm sure they'll copy it. No question.
Yeah.
So simple as well. It'd be cool if we could just record little snippets of our own gameplay as well for them. like in the future.
Well, Sims, the Sims has had this option for years, but they never turned it into a GIF, and that's what makes this so nicely packaged with a bow. Is that it's very simple to just take a tiny little clip, put some words on it, and put it on the internet, and nothing else has that ability. And I so want to see it in every game.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Do you really though?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to see what people come up with.
Because this is very funny, but it could also very quickly become annoying if every single franchise is doing it.
I would just like GIF tools in games in general. Like it's such a convenient way of sharing a small snippet of gameplay. And it's an alternate use of what they're using for advertising. It's just a really cool idea, I think.
It is a little nefarious because it is all free advertising.
That is also true.
But it's fun. You enjoy it, so who cares?
Right. But people already take they already record their games. They already take screenshots. They already do. They take horrible cell phone pictures of their TVs when something funny happens to their game, which I never saw another one again. I'd be really, really happy. If this replaced that, I'd be much, much happier.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm sure that we're going to see some copycats of this.
Definitely.
Like, no question. And they made the process of generating the GIF very, very easy. So I think a lot of other companies are going to take it and run with it.
Dragon Age Inquisition GIFerator. Oh my gosh. I just made myself really excited. Like, I was down on it, and then I realized.
There you go. Unfortunately, that's all the show we have for you this week. We actually went a little over, but I'm okay with that because you know what? We've earned it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, number
50 podcasts. Yay.
That's right.
5-0.
That's right. That's right. We have a lot of great stuff planned for you guys and for the rest of the year, so keep an eye out. So make sure you let us know what you think of the episode. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Facebook. Do we have Instagram? Is that a thing? No, not yet, right? We're working on that.
No, I don't think we're on this.
I don't think so. Twitter and Facebook, do that, and expect to see a lot more from us in the coming weeks. Until then, I've been your host, Michael Schluger.
I'm Lance John.
I've been Connor Howard.
I'm Aaron Murphy.
I'm Leon Field.
And I'm Shayna Moon.
Have an awesome week of gaming, guys. Hit a lot of keys for us. Till next time.